Relax. You're listening to America at Night with McGraw-Milhaven.
Hey, from the text line, listen to this. You have an echo. Tell your engineer to fix it. Yeah, exactly, Alex. Why don't you fix that echo? No, kidding around. All right, let's get to Bill on the road. Every Thursday, we check in with Bill on the road. Bill Cleveland, our traveling correspondent here at America at Night. Good morning, Bill.
Hello, McGraw.
All right. So how did you know that today is the anniversary of Las Vegas granting the right to gamble?
Well, do you want the real story of how? Here's the real story. When I do stuff on social media every morning, I wake up and I find kind of like on this day in history and just different ways to kind of tie in stuff. Yeah. So you got to know what's going on, man. You got to know your trivia.
I hear you. All right. So how long ago? It was this day? What year?
1931. So the state of Nevada legalized gambling, which was kind of a way to lift the state out of the Great Depression. And then Las Vegas, a decade later, kind of started to take shape when they were building the Hoover Dam. You had all these people, workers and things like that, looking for something to do in a way to burn their money. And and it was called, I believe the first resort was called the El Rancho Vegas. That was the first Las Vegas resort. That would have been early 1941, I think. So
and it was, it was literally like a dirt road, was it not? A dirt road and an outhouse, basically, right? It was nothing.
Yeah, they were gambling in the outhouse. It turns out you don't really need all that much to gamble your money away.
God love you.
Yeah.
All right. Much. So in honor of the anniversary of gambling, you decided to do the top 10 things to do in Vegas that have nothing to do with gambling.
That's right, because I don't drink. I don't gamble. To be honest, I'm really not that fun. And so I was looking for things the last time I was in Vegas to do that didn't really require either of those things, and actually found out a lot of really interesting things to do in Las Vegas that don't require drinking or gambling.
Okay. Do you want to go from 10? Are these did you rank them? Are they in any order? Do you want to go from 10 to 1 or 1 to 10?
No, there's no particular order, although I guess I will say the first one listed is my favorite, and I don't mind getting that out of the way. It's the Neon Museum, and hopefully folks have had a chance to do this, but if not, I'm telling you right now, in my opinion, this is the coolest thing to do in Las Vegas, even if you like to gamble and you like to drink and have a great time. It's called the Neon Museum. So basically what it is, it's a collection of the old school Las Vegas signs that used to be on all the buildings, so the huge neon signs. So they've collected many of those and basically brought them back to life. So you go into, I've heard it referred to as the neon graveyard, right? So you'll go into it's an outdoor museum, all right, and you'll walk through, and you have to go at night. You can go during the day, but at night it's so awesome. And they're all lit up, and there's a photo of me actually at BillOnTheRoad.com if you look at this article, and I'm standing next to the old Stardust marquee, the sign that used to be on the building, and you can just tell, it's just towers above me, and it's just so cool to be able to stand next to these giant signs all lit up.
Is you see the Riviera, Hard Rock Cafe, is the Tropicana there?
Yes, the Tropicana. They've got, all of the old classics that you could think of are there. And then another neat thing that they've got a nightly show. It's called Brilliant. And what this is, it's outside of the Neon Museum in another little area. And these are signs that actually don't work anymore. But what they've done is they have this, I don't know exactly how it works, but it's like this laser show, okay, and through the lasers and these lights, they bring all these dead signs back to life, and they're moving around, and you hear Frank Sinatra and Elvis and all these classic Las Vegas type songs that are playing, and it is super cool. And everywhere you look, things are lighting up, and it's a lot of fun.
All right. First of all, I love going to Vegas and seeing the shows and not even gambling. I'll gamble once in a while, but I like to go and see the shows, and I love old history when it comes to Vegas, so that's a good one. All right. What else you got?
Well, there's another thing that I thought was really cool, and this just opened a few years ago, and it's called Dig This. So, as you know, you're kind of out in the desert out there, and there's a lot of empty space. And this guy was very clever. I believe the backstory was that he was building a home somewhere in Colorado, and ended up doing a lot of the excavation on his own, and ended up, kind of deciding, people would think this is pretty cool to be able to get inside some of these giant, Caterpillar machines and things like that. So he opened up this business in Las Vegas. I believe this is the number one tourist attraction in Las Vegas. I could be wrong about that. I think TripAdvisor actually has it as the number one attraction. And basically what you do is you buy time, so like an hour, okay, and you get in one of these giant excavators or whatever. And even little kids can do it. Like they'll have, obviously smaller ones, but and there's a guy that's talking to you on a walkie-talkie while you're inside operating the machine, and he'll say, go left, go right, do whatever, and you're picking up basketballs and you're digging holes and if you've never been in one of these machines, it's actually very interesting. And so now, actually, every time I drive by a construction site, I'm like, I can do that. Yeah, definitely worth a try.
All right. Well, what else you got? That's a good one too. You're 2 for 2.
So you mentioned shows. I'm skipping down the list just a little bit. So Michael Jackson 1. So I had never been to a Cirque du Soleil performance before, and I'm so glad that I went to this one. And maybe it was bad that this was my first one, because I can't imagine anything else topping this. But I'm a child of the 1980s. Michael Jackson was on the radio all the time, so love all of that music. And they take every single one of Michael Jackson's hit songs, and they do these amazing performances. And people, of course, as they're flying through the air, and they're, it's glow in the dark, and it's late. I mean, it is. I can't. If you've never seen a Cirque du Soleil show, maybe it's hard, to grasp exactly what I'm talking about. But if you have, and it sounds like you have, since you've been to some Vegas shows.
Well, I'll tell you that your first two were great. This one's a total dud. This one is not. This one is not getting.
Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen it. I've seen it. Not only have I seen it, but I was with my sisters and their friends, and we were in Vegas, and I said, let's go see a show on me. And I said, any show. So we were debating, and I was like, Rich Little is like in some old hotel. And I'm like, Rich Little at the Golden Nugget could be just awesome old school Vegas. And the tickets were like $25, and they had those seashell sort of, tables that, that they sort of, in the audience. And Rich Little, come on, man, how much more Vegas can you get? And I lost to Michael Jackson 1, and the tickets were like $120. And at the end, the woman who made me go to see Michael Jackson was like, we should have gone to see Rich Little. I'm like, yeah, no kidding. We should have gone to see Rich Little.
I wonder if you were there on a bad night, because I loved all of it.
It was fine. It was fine, but I wanted Rich Little.
Yeah,
right.
Well,
all right.
Just remember, when you're listening, folks, I'm the travel expert, not McGraw. Take my word for it. You mentioned old school Vegas, Fremont Street, kind of where it all got started. It's fun. They've kind of brought that part back to life. Better at night, honestly. Anywhere you go in Vegas, it's people watching, right? I mean, can we agree that that's kind of the best, one of the best things to do in Vegas is just to watch people? And this is a place to go. Lots of restaurants. You've got, like, I wouldn't call it a roller coaster, but there's something where people are they're flying across the the ceiling of this indoor, like, mall area, and it's kind of fun. But and you don't have to buy anything; you can just go and watch people. So Fremont Street, we'll add that there. Now here's one that's actually outside of Vegas by 40 minutes or so. So there's a state park called Valley of Fire State Park, and this place is awesome. So it kind of has the vibe of like a Utah national park. But what's really neat about the Valley of the Fire State Park is when you're there first thing in the morning, let's say 8, 9 o'clock, or you're there at like 5 p.m. or whatever, as the sun is either rising or coming down, all of the rocks kind of look like they're on fire. They have this amazing red color to them, and lots of great hiking. You get some amazing photos, and it's just kind of a way to, get outside of the city for a day.
All right. Hence the name Valley of the Fire State Park.
Valley of
makes
the
sense.
Fire. Yeah,
All right.
that's right. The Mob Museum, that's another one. So not a free attraction, but it's really worth it if you don't know anything about the mob, which I did not. And a short walk from Fremont Street, and you'll find all sorts of interesting stories and history and exhibits. And I know I mentioned this in the post that I did, and I wrote it down because it was one of my favorite quotes from the entire museum, and it was about these Italian immigrants who had heard all these amazing things about America, and they weren't always completely true. So there was one immigrant that was quoted as saying, "I heard the streets of America were paved with gold." And when I'd arrived, I just discovered they weren't paved with gold. The streets weren't paved at all. But it's kind of a fun way. They talk about the mobs, and they talk about the history of the early immigrants and stuff. So that's kind of fun.
The Mob Museum. All right. That could be something.
Museum.
All right.
Yeah,
All right. Moving right along. What else you got in Vegas?
Right,
Has nothing to do with gambling.
So the Strat, which of course does have, the stratosphere is what they used to call it. Now it's cool, the Strat. Kind of a fixture, I guess, of the Las Vegas skyline. It's 1,149 feet in the air, so you can go all the way to the top and get a cool 360-degree view of Las Vegas and the surrounding region, and you can actually run through the casino. You don't even have to stop. That's a pretty neat one. They also have a I can't remember if it's not a roller coaster, but they have some crazy ride where you propel down the side of the building or something like that. So all sorts of crazy things.
You didn't try that one, did you?
I would have. It was closed. I totally would have done it, but it was closed. One I loved was the Pinball Hall of Fame. So this is a gigantic, I don't know what it was before. It had to have been something else, like a warehouse maybe. But basically you'd walk in and all it is, it's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pinball machines as far as the eye can see. And you go in and you get your little bucket of quarters and you can go around and play all of these vintage pinball games. And it's if you know where the Welcome to Las Vegas sign is, you can walk to the museum or the Hall of Fame, I guess, right from that sign. So it's pretty easy to find. And if you like pinball machines, you got to check that one out.
All right, cool. All right, what else you got?
All right. The last two on my list is, of course, the Bellagio fountain shows. If you've never seen the fountains at the Bellagio, it's really a lot of fun. Obviously, it's a free attraction. You can just stand there, but just, and it's been around for a while, but it's still pretty awesome to see, 1,200 different water nozzles all shooting up in every direction. And, you got the music and everything. And I think that's fun. You probably hate it. But.
No. The times I've been in Vegas, it's been 142 degrees in the shade. So I don't know if I can see it from my hotel room. I'll enjoy it, but not when you're walking down the street. Yeah.
And unless there's Michael Jackson music playing, you really wouldn't.
That's exactly right. If Rich Little invited me to the Bellagio, I would go. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, good grief. The last one that I'll mention here is, and I didn't even know this was in Las Vegas until my last time around, and it's called the Atomic Museum. So if you're thinking about Las Vegas and that region, they have a long history with atomic energy and the nuclear testing and all that stuff. And so it's not. I don't want them to be offended. It's not necessarily a very state-of-the-art museum, but it is really interesting, and it walks through the history of the nuclear bomb and all of the science and the research and all the stuff that went into the development of that program. And they have a lot of original artifacts and stuff like that. So I think there's a lot of things that you can do that if you don't drink, you're going with somebody that loves to gamble, but you're like, that's not really my thing. You can find something to do.
All right, two things you didn't mention. One, the Pawn Stars shop. Did you swing by the Pawn Stars shop?
I did, and I cannot remember why I didn't go there. There was a reason, but I can't remember why I didn't go there. And can I guess what your other one was going to be? Because
Sure.
I just thought of it while we were in the break. The Hoover Dam.
Yes.
Hoover Dam is the other one that I should have added to this list. Maybe I'll replace the Michael Jackson show with the Hoover Dam, because I have done that, and that is fascinating. That really is fascinating to see.
It is unbelievable, and you can walk through the Hoover Dam, and they take you through the inside, and it's amazing. It is really
Yeah.
It is really, really cool. And then we took the drive to go to the, I don't know what they call it, but the see-through bridge there in that Indian reservation. It's about 2 hours from Vegas, an hour and a half from Vegas.
On the north side of the
the north
Grand
rim
Canyon?
of the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
Yeah, when I've gone to Vegas, unlike you, I go when it's not 110. So I'm there usually in January or February when it's a little chilly. So the north rim of the Grand Canyon is closed during those months.
Right.
So I haven't had a chance to do that.
We do have a text from the text line, Bill Cleveland. This one is,
Okay.
Ask Bill if he has any merchandise for sale, caps, T-shirts, anything like that. Do you have any hats or T-shirts?
Hats or T-shirts? No, I've never thought about selling hats or T-shirts. Is that a thing? Should I have that? Should I have?
Yeah,
hats and
it's a
T-shirts?
thing. People buy hats and T-shirts. Yeah, that's a thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, with my name on it, I don't like a little cartoon Bill on the road.
Bill
no, I
on the
don't.
road. BillOnTheRoad.com. Okay, so no. Well, you have at least.
Correct, huh?
All right, there you go. Bill